Hi everyone, welcome to today's Sonder Social. For those who are new, welcome, welcome, and for those that are returning, welcome back. If you don't know me, I'm Melika. I'm dialing in from San Francisco. It's still nice and bright here. The sun is, I think, gonna set in an hour or two, probably 2 hours actually. Now with the time change, so. I'm excited to get some sunlight for once, but excited to have you all here with me. I am excited to dive into the change journaling a little bit more. We're going to go through a scavenger hunt, like a kind of a change scavenger hunt, and also explore the seasons of change together. So super excited. And just as a reminder, make sure to set your chat to everyone. It's that blue toggle, and it's kind of the way we interact with each other throughout the social. If anyone is new to a Sonder social, make sure to say I'm new in the chat. We want to give you a warm welcome. And joining me all the way from Nashville, Tennessee is the one and only Bailey. So she's popping on and giving you a big ol' wave, but she'll be there in the chat with y'all tonight and helping me kind of manage the social and just be an overall rock star that like she always is. So let's go ahead and get started. We have a lot to cover, and it's going to be kind of journaling heavy. So buckle up. So make sure to grab your March journals. We're nearing the end, which is crazy to think about. But we'll go ahead and get started. Okay. So we'll start off with the community guidelines. So just as a reminder, be kind and courteous to yourself and others. No promotions or spam. Respect everyone's privacy. No hate speech or bullying. Any product and accessory questions or customer care inquiries can be directed to hello@siliconsonder.com. And just remember that these Sonder socials are a way to really get the most out of your journal. And it's really a way for not only for all of us to connect with each other and have fun in the chat, but it's also a way to really spend this time for yourself and really kind of get dive a little bit deeper with the prompts that are already in your journal. So, we'll go ahead and get started. Let's talk about this theme of change. I think change is really representative of the season of spring to me. We're kind of moving away from the winter months and into kind of the summer months. I don't know if anyone's in California in the chat, but it has been a warm, warm March. It was kind of unexpected. It was 80 plus degrees in San Francisco, which is like unheard of all last week, and it was kind of crazy. I had to run my air conditioning, which I never do in San Francisco. I'm one of the few apartments that has air conditioning, thank God. But it was a hot week, and it's still pretty warm today. Today was 75, so we're definitely getting a lot of the heat here in the West Coast. But that being said, I would say that change is really a good word to kind of think about as we head into April as well. I think when I think about this month and how I reflect on the change in my life, I would say there were some relationships that kind of came to a close. And there were also some opportunities that were presented to me that was incredible. So, even just experiencing the interview process was really great. So I was really proud of myself for really making sure that I took those opportunities and really prepped for those interviews. And even if I don't get the opportunity, having the skill set to interview is great in itself. So being open to change is really something that I've been really trying to focus on, and excited to kind of dive in more with more change in the rest of the year. So, Excited to go through the agenda this evening. So we'll start off with an opening activity, which will be a little bit of a creative activity, but it'll be fun. And then we'll move into the change scavenger hunt on page 19. And then we're going to move into the create your own seasons of change on page 21. So we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so for your opening activity, you can do this on a blank page in your journal. I know it's the end of the month, so if your blank pages are kind of filled up, you can also do this on a scratch paper nearby. But we're gonna get creative here. We're gonna be our younger selves and we're gonna start drawing things together. So exciting. So we're going to draw a tadpole as it transitions into a frog. So, this is kind of a fun activity. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't sure how it was gonna go if I drew it out. So I decided to AI generate an image. I know I don't like to AI generate images very often, but I had to for this exercise. And I will show you my example, maybe as a guideline for you all, but please just remember this is all AI generated. I have no idea what it came up with, but you're gonna kind of represent, you're gonna label things on your tadpole frog. So the tail is going to represent something that you're leaving behind. The legs will be some strengths that you're currently growing. And then the murk, the cloudiness. So around your tadpole frog, you're going to have some cloudy water. So what is that thing that you're running away from? And then your first hop. If you were to hop out of the water onto the grass, what is the first thing you would do with your new legs? So maybe like what's that first action that you're going to do? So I'll give you an example of mine. I'm leaving behind all my trauma from dating. It's been pretty bad lately. And we're just gonna leave that behind. And then on my legs, I'm gonna focus on my glow up. I'm really focusing on kind of my physical health, and just making sure that I feel confident. So, working out, going to solid core, kind of really watching what I'm eating and eating more at home, drinking less. And I also am like over a third done with my Invisalign treatment. So it's only 3 months for me total. So I'm excited to be a third done. And then my other thing is I want to be more organized, whether it be my to-dos for my life, whether it be my financial planning, whether it be my organization of my home, of my closets that just keep bursting, or whether it be kind of making sure that I'm organized in my life and all the adult things that I have to do. So just kind of making sure that I'm staying organized. And then I am the Merc that, what is the Mercs? The Merc is the what I want to swim away from. So I want to swim away from any inconsistency. So whether it be in my dating life, whether it be in my friendships, whether it be anything that's not really consistent in my life, or even inconsistency in my habits. I want to make sure that I'm much more consistent. So I'm running away from consistent inconsistency. So that is kind of my tadpole frog that I'll share with you all, but I'll put it back here and I'll give you all some time to work on your tadpole frogs, and label kind of your tadpole accordingly. And we'll regroup in a few minutes. All right. Thank you all for sharing in the chat. Even though I can't see your tadpole frog combos, I can read through the chat what you wrote and kind of what represented each element of your tadpole frog. So thank you all for being so vulnerable in the chat. I think it's also a really great way to kind of symbolize what we're leaving behind as we evolve forward. And those legs are really kind of our grounding. And they are representative of kind of what you are calling in and what strengths you currently are focusing on so that you can really hop and really hop away from the things that you're leaving behind. So thank you all so, so much on the like kind of partaking in this activity. I think it was a fun one too. So thanks for that. We'll now move forward into the change scavenger hunt. So go ahead and turn to page 19 of your change scavenger hunt. We're gonna work on some of these boxes. So I kind of broke it up into two slides, so we'll focus on the first three top three boxes together, and then we'll move forward with the remaining boxes. I know it's kind of a piecemeal a little bit, but we'll go ahead and start off with the first three boxes, which is something in nature that's in the middle of changing, a part of your home you've rearranged or want to refresh, and a routine or habit that you're experimenting with. So you'll see on each of these boxes, the the example is kind of like how I answered it, and like how it kind of relates to me. But I also added some bullets in each of these boxes to really help you kind of identify what you can put in that box. So for me, something that's in the middle of changing, the sun, as I mentioned, the sun has been setting later, and it really reminds me, even as my day ends, it's nice that the sun kind of sets a little bit later, and it really reminds me that change can be steady and powerful, and even in the days where I feel like I'm not really doing much, I actually feel like I am making incremental progress. You just don't always see it. And I think that's a good perspective to have. A part of your home that you've rearranged or want to refresh. I would say something I've been doing this year was buying fresh flowers every month. In my home. So you can see my flowers there on the dresser. And it's just a reminder that I really love flowers and I feel like it really brings a lot of vibrance and color into my home. And it just makes me feel girly and it brings a little bit of nature back into my concrete jungle apartment. So I like that. It just provides that kind of environment. And then a routine or habit that you're experimenting with. I'm really trying to shut down technology as much as I can in the evening. I will admit, I do watch TV and it's something that I love to do. So that's been hard. But in terms of like being on my phone and scrolling on TikTok or being on my laptop, like I really try to put those devices away and either read or cook or call a friend. I count calling a friend as it's fine. I'm not really on my phone when I'm talking to my friend. And then just kind of hanging out in my living room, admiring the view, reading a book, lighting a candle. It's just my way of unwinding or even going for a walk. So. Yeah, I think it's like a good way to unwind. And I'm also going to start incorporating more creative activities because I love painting, I love embroidery, I love like all the fun artsy things that I just don't make time for anymore. So doing that as well. So I'll give you all some time to reflect on what you're going to put in your scavenger hunt boxes, and then we'll move on to the next set of boxes after this one. All right, I'm popping in here. I love all the responses in the chat. Sounds like we have a lot of readers. We have a lot of kind of self-care and healthy habits that we're incorporating. I love it. Okay. We'll now move on to the remaining boxes here. So, the next boxes we'll focus on are a thought you've recently outgrown, a new perspective you've heard or read that's shifted your thinking, an object you're ready to let go of, and something about yourself that you're learning to accept. So, if I were to reflect, I would say I have outgrown the thought that something's wrong with me. Oftentimes, when I'm dating, I feel like it is a jarring experience. I think I've had like some interesting experiences as of lately that just really feel unaligned and just not super great. So I feel like sometimes it makes me question kind of myself and like what I'm doing wrong and tend to internalize things that are really out of my control. And, it is what it is. So really kind of thinking about what that thought is and something that I've just kind of tried to move away from going forward. A new perspective I've heard or read that's shifted my thinking, how compatibility and consistency are essential in all of my relationships in my life. So I can't control how others treat me, but I can control whether I can entertain them and keep that in my life. So really thinking about that as well, an object I'm ready to let go of. I would say I am ready to let go of clutter. I think I didn't put this in the in the box here, but I would say I have a lot of clothes and stuff that I've held onto from apartment to apartment. And I did do a cleanse before moving to this apartment, but I still have clothes that have stayed in the box, and it's been almost a year since I moved here. So, what does that indicate to me? That they should just be thrown out or donated or just let go of. So, really just being intentional about what I keep in my home, especially when I have such a small home right now, is really important. And then something about myself that I'm learning to accept. I would say I tend to feel my emotions quite deeply. Maybe people would label it as sensitive, but yeah, maybe I am a little sensitive, but I don't think of that as a weakness. I think of it as like a strength because it allows me to have really deep and meaningful relationships in my life, and because I actually care about the people in my life, like those relationships have really withstood a lot of distance, like a lot of life phases, and some of the people in my life that I'm close to this day have been a part of my life since I was a teenager. And I think it's because it's something that is like they're important to me. So I would say that is not sensitivity is not a weakness, it's a superpower. So yeah, just kind of thinking about who I am and how I show up in the world and remembering that there's different perspectives. So I'll give you all some time to reflect on your change scavenger hunt, all those remaining boxes here. And I will check in a few minutes. All right. We'll now move forward to the next activity, but thank you all so much for really taking your time with this exercise. I know it really uncovers a lot of things because it asks us to really focus on different aspects of our life, and being vulnerable and like understanding kind of who you are is really, really important in kind of this world that we live in, especially as we kind of work on ourselves and really dive in a little bit deeper with these prompts. So I really appreciate your vulnerability and sharing with us in this chat. It's so beautiful to see. And yes, if you do need more time, I know that these socials go by so fast. So feel free to like revisit or just, keep working as I'm talking. And yeah, that'll be great. So, okay, we'll now move forward to the next activity, which is the seasons of change. Okay, so turn to page 21 of your journal here, and you'll see four boxes. You'll see spring. Also, there's a typo on the page. It does not supposed to say chance. It's supposed to say change. So go ahead and just put a little G. But anyways, each of these boxes represent a season. So it represents kind of a new start. So spring equals new beginnings. Summer is growth and action. Autumn is letting go. And winter is rest and reflection. So we'll start off with the spring and summer since we're in those seasons right now. We are in spring. We're going to be in summer shortly. And then we'll focus on autumn and winter after. So, first, let's focus on spring and summer and your reflection questions for your seasons of change are for spring, what are you planting or starting fresh in your life? So think about kind of what those seeds are. You don't have to focus so much on the outcome. So really thinking about kind of what you're planting right now. What are you investing in yourself? Are there small things that you've kind of focused on for this season of life? Are you saying yes to things? Are you saying no to things? What requires kind of a belief that this will eventually lead to the outcome that you are working towards? But what are those actual seeds that you are planting right now? So for me, I'm really investing a lot into myself. So that means I really wanted to, I've been kind of insecure about my teeth. I know my teeth are pretty straight, but they did shift over the past couple of years, especially. And I really want to get them back to when they were like perfectly straight. So right after I had braces 15 years ago. So I am working on, the process of Invisalign to get them straighter. So that would be a seed that I've planted in spring. And then another thing that I've been doing is really being dedicated about solid core. I've started that recently and I've been really into it. So I've been going to my Pilates class and it's something that I look forward to. And just thinking about kind of what those things are for you. What are you kind of planting in your life? So those are your new beginnings. And then as we evolve into summer, what are the habits or actions that are helping you thrive? So think about kind of what's already working, what is working well, what isn't working well. Maybe kind of separate intentions versus behaviors. What are you actually doing consistently? So really focus on the behavioral element. Think about kind of what energy you're focusing on, what is working, what's not working. If things aren't working well, what is that? Really think about what those are too. So for me, I would say I really wanted to plan a like an international trip in the spring, but just given where things are with work and where things are, I think just financially with I feel like I need to just like save a little bit more and then maybe just go later in the summer. I'll feel better if I just do that. So that will be something that I'm focusing on like my habits, making sure I'm building my wealth and not just spending my money. So making sure that I'm doing that and investing a little bit more and just being a little bit more well versed with stocks and growing my portfolio. So really thinking about kind of those long-term things. And then we'll spend some time on spring and summer, and then we'll move forward into autumn and winter next. So I'll give you all some time to work on your spring and summer, and then we'll regroup in a few minutes. All right. Thank you all for being so vulnerable in the chat, and sharing with us, kind of your spring and your summer seasons of change. We will now move forward with, autumn and winter. So for autumn, really thinking about kind of letting go. So, what are you ready to release or declutter? So, as you transition from the summer to the winter, what is something that you're ready to let go of? Think about kind of beyond your physical realm and your physical space. So, we know what I need to declutter, which is my closet. Thinking about kind of what you are releasing. So, what are those things that you maybe put on pressure on yourself, or things that you feel like are weighing down on you, that are no longer really in alignment with where you want to go. So think about maybe some negative thoughts or expectations that you have for yourself, maybe relationships that are no longer serving you, maybe thinking about kind of what that is for you. Maybe it's a role, maybe it's your job, maybe you're not really happy in your current role. What are things that you're going to let go of, and what feels really not misaligned? So, thinking about what those are. And this is, I feel like as we evolve into the autumn season, like your version of yourself today is not going to be the version of yourself when you're actually in the fall season of this year, which is kind of exciting in a way. But just thinking about kind of as you're looking forward, you can write it from today's perspective, and maybe you should save these pages and read about them, read through them as we enter the next seasons this year. So it would be kind of fun to read through, as you kind of are in that season going forward. So think about what that is for you. And then for winter, where do you need stillness or self-compassion? So really slow down with this one. So when we're thinking about winter, we're thinking about rest. We're thinking about maybe being home a little bit more with our thoughts. What are things that you feel like you are kind of hard on for yourself? So, like, what are you most self-critical of? And where do you feel like you deserve a little bit more, like comfort? And self-compassion does not mean just like, it's just like a patch. It's actually really important to be really aware and think about kind of what you're critical of for yourself, because I think at the end of the day, we only have ourselves to really navigate through life. Whether it be, anything we go through, like we really have ourselves. So making sure that we provide ourselves that compassion that we need instead of relying on others to fulfill that for us. So, really thinking about kind of what that is for you, and what feels tiring or heavy or emotional. Think about kind of what that is for you. So I'll give you all some time, before we wrap. I know we only have like 5 minutes together, so I'll give you all the full 5 minutes to reflect on your autumn and your winter seasons of change. All right. Our hour together has come to an end. So thank you all for being so vulnerable in the chat, and really reflecting on your seasons of change, your change scavenger hunt, and even our little tadpole exercise. That was such a great way to kick it off. I feel like we really, really got deep. I remember when I was like making the slides, I was like, wow, this is a really like reflective, heavy social. And those are my favorite socials to lead because I love hearing about kind of how you took this and what you're working on and what you are letting go of. All of those fun, juicy details that we don't normally get to share with one another in our day-to-day lives. So thank you all for spending this hour with all of us and with yourselves. I think it's a really good hour to spend with each other. So thank you all. And make sure to share your pages. Really want to make sure that you share those pages in Sonder Club so everyone knows what they missed out on. Give them a little bit of FOMO. But thank you all so much. Bailey popped in some links for you all in the chat. I will share my playlist with you all. It's always heavily requested. It's a great mix of instrumentals as well as some intro songs that I always like to include as we enter and exit a social. But I just want to thank you all so much for spending this hour with me, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone. Have a great rest of your week.